Hey everybody, it's Gail, and today I wanted to show you these 1950s house slippers courtesy of a JMP Coats Quick Tricks booklet from probably 52 or 53. They were very big around that time. I have several of them. So this one, these slippers originally called for Red Heart Knitting Worsted, which is basically Red Heart Super Saver now. You know how I feel about acrylic not breathing, especially with my temperature regulation issues. So I went with Lion Brand Cotton 24/7, which is a tiny bit thinner, and that should be noted, but it worked up great, fits great. It actually was a little bit loose when I got just the whole body together, which is why there is this additional stripe here. This upper stripe is not part of the pattern. This was done just so it would stay on my foot comfortably. This upper stripe I did with some Knit Picks Dishy I had left over from God knows what. I have Dishy sort of just scattered about. So this was a very interesting pattern to work with, and that is because, let me switch out here. Here's all the pieces. It's a lot. So first of all, they tell you you can cut out a insole. They wanted to be slightly smaller than the soles themselves, so I did that. You can also, like, they make like thin insoles that you can just find places. If you want these to be nice and cozy for winter, they make them with like sheepskin, so like sheep fur, the wool. Oh my god, I love them. I use them in my shoes all the time. That would be great for a nice cozy slipper. I'm going for more of a summer slipper, so I didn't do that. But let's walk through all of the pieces you make. So you're going to be working double with your yarn for a lot of this. And the first thing you do is you make, they call it I think it's a top sole and a bottom sole. They're made exactly the same way. So you need two of those. These are made, like I said, using yarn doubled over. You're working with a 5mm hook, by the way. And so this is just classic working down and then working around both sides of the chain. And you make those two. And then you make, where are they? Oh, this is what threw me off. You make this piece here, which is a heel part, and then you make another smaller heel part. And you end up sewing those two together and then sewing that to one of the soles, and then the cardboard goes in like that, and then you sew the upper sole to all of it. I guess we just can't imagine walking around flat-footed in 1950 slippers for women. You've got to have a little bit of a heel. It does make them super comfy, by the way. I will admit that. It just was weird. Like, you're basically making a wedge. So you do all of that. And sorry, I'm having trouble putting stuff down. And then you make, this is the toe box. And then this is the piece that goes around the edge to finish off the slipper. So this is the toe box, and then this is that longer piece. And I sewed these on. I sewed the toe box and the side along the outside edge of the soles rather than sitting it on top of the sole the way that the photo seems to imply. It says pin in place and sew. It doesn't give you exact instructions. And I found that, like, it fits my foot. It's fine. I made the medium size. I'm a size 7. And so medium size, the fit came out really well. And I wanted you to see all the pieces that go into this because you can't see those two little heel pieces with everything all sewn together. I will actually make an explanatory blog post about how to put the slipper together, all the parts. It's not difficult, but I think it's a bit counterintuitive how it all goes together. And, like, if that is not the perfect way for me to, like, slip in and have a reason for a blog post, I don't know what is. But for now, what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go put the other slipper together and get the trim on, and then I will be back to show you how they fit and, wrap things up like we do. So I'll see you in a minute. Hey everybody, I am nearly done with the slipper sewing, and I just want to show you real quick how I hold the bits into place when I'm sewing them, when I'm dealing with something like a toe box that needs to be in a very precise location. I haven't actually checked it against the finished one yet, but let's see now. Ooh, yeah, I think I lined that up real nice, actually. All right, coolness. All right, I'm gonna go finish these because you don't know this, but it's been like 2 weeks. I've been very lazy about it. But I have a whole host of stuff on my desk right now that needs to be sewn together, so I'm trying to knock it out. Anyway, I will be back with the finished second slipper very shortly for you, and hopefully also today for me. Okay, we are back, and there is a slight problem. So this is the first one I made, and this is the one I just finished. And you'll notice that the trim is not the same size. So it's the same number of rows, but this was done with the 5mm hook because I was looking at this one and I went, did I do that trim in a smaller hook size? I don't recall. And I checked my Ravelry where I keep track of everything, and I didn't have a second hook mentioned. And I thought, well, let's just get out the 5mm and see what happens. And what happened was these are definitely not the same hook size on the trim. The problem is I don't remember the hook size for this trim. Might have been, my theory is it was probably a 4, because that's usually what I do if I'm trying to pull something in, is I drop down like a full millimeter. But I don't know. And so now what I'm going to have to do is undo this one, like just the trim, and try again. But I don't want to do it right now, frankly. Just one of those days, But, here's the thing. All of the parts of this that are in the pattern are correct. So we can see the final look of them, the way that I did it. And I'm very happy. You know what? Let's just drop this foot. Nobody needs to see this one. And I will say, I do like this pattern. It was very interesting. I don't know if I would like it as much if I couldn't see my stitches. Not because I think I did such a great job making my sewing stitches look perfect, but because I cannot imagine the pain in the ass of trying to see the same color as the yarn as I go through many, many layers. But on the other hand, depending on your own preference for neatness, let me pop this off real quick so you can see the bottom. It gets a little, I'll zoom out, there we go. It gets a little messy on the bottom with all the different layers you have to attach, so you may want to do it all in one color if you're concerned about that, or perhaps you can sew more neatly than I can, in which case, proud of you. But yeah, so let's call this done. And I will take this other slipper and fix it later. Nobody needs to see that process. Yeah, but if you do find yourself needing to bring the slipper in a little bit, this is 4 rows worked with, like I said, probably a 4mm. The big thing is that I worked around evenly, and I did my best to grab the edge of the slipper here and the edge of the side piece in one of the stitches just to give it a little more structure. And then I did decreases. I needed 3 sets of decreases, so I stacked them. And you may need more, you may need less. It's a try on as you go sort of thing. And then yeah, I started back here, and you can see my sort of messy join. So that is my final comment on these slippers. And here's my face. Let me see if I can get out of the Yeah, it'll work. So, as always, if you enjoy what I do here, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, all of that fun stuff. I will have a link to the whole Quick Tricks booklet down in the basement, along with a note about the yarn I used. And if I can't find the booklet on Etsy, which is where I get a lot of my vintage patterns, I'll just upload it to my website so you can grab it there. Don't forget, if you want to see the actual piecing together of all of those little bits, all of the slipper pieces, they're going to be on the website. I will link directly to them down in the basement. They will be a blog post. Probably won't make it a PDF. I'm never sure when to make a PDF. Well, unless it's a pattern, of course. So, it'll be there if you need it to help you out. And, yeah, I did the rest of my outros, so that's going to be it for me. I will see you when I see you.